Welcome back to Faith in the Age of Knowledge. I'm your host, and today we are diving into episode 5 titled, The Bias in Dissemination. In this episode, we delve into one of the most concerning phenomena threatening the credibility of science, publication bias. Publication bias, also known as the file drawer effect, is a tendency to publish a certain type of research or results. This bias can crudely be described when a researcher from a specific sector or group decides not to publish everything they've studied, but only the findings that are negative or positive. Even if the publication is entirely accurate and replicated perfectly, it constitutes a deception because the selection of the published topic wasn't made with sincerity, but was influenced by the expected outcomes. This isn't merely about defaming or the opposite, it's also a natural process. Researchers try to find uniqueness or characteristics of an object or process, but if the findings don't support anything special, there's nothing to publish, and no results emerge. As certain variables naturally respond to research, there's a tendency to publish the study, the discovery, the unique data. Robert Rosenthal, who likely coined the term, argued in his 1979 paper, The File Drawer Problem and Tolerance for Null Results, that professional literature in all research fields is filled with overtly incorrect results, while studies that didn't achieve a clear result remain unpublished. Professor Robert Carroll from the philosophy department at Sacramento City College, who specializes in logic and critical thinking, dedicates a chapter to the file drawer effect in his book, How to Think Critically. Understanding this process can help us question the studies supporting innovative vegan medications and similar. Thus, a study might be accurately presented on the immediate beneficial effect of a drug for a specific disease, while it could have been tested on dozens of diseases, with statistically expected varied outcomes. According to Carroll, results don't get published not just because they're uninteresting, but also if they contradict published research, as no researcher wants to be considered unreliable or contradicting accepted findings. Brian Martinson investigated this issue for Health Partners Research Foundation, with results published in Nature, June 2005. Martinson and his colleagues sent a survey to thousands of scientists funded by the National Institutes of Health. Anonymously, 6% admitted to burying data that contradicted their previous research, and more than 15% ignored observations because they had a gut feeling they were inaccurate. Martinson suggests the truth is far worse, as no one rushes to admit or even recognize unprofessional behavior. Carroll adds a lengthy bibliography of studies documenting the systematic burying of data by researchers for reasons of lack of interest or disagreement. Among them is Victor Stenger's 2002 article, Meta-Analysis and the File Drawer Effect, and Medical Research Angles by John Ioannidis. Brian Martinson's article, with M. Anderson and R. DeVries, published in Nature, June 2005, is another notable mention. In an article by Jeffrey Kurgan on space sciences at the Ames Research Center, a comprehensive bibliography presents the severe issue of publication bias across all research fields, suggesting that even reputable journals prefer publishing articles with definitive results and reject those denying any result. Dr. Ben Goldacre, in an article for The Guardian, January 8, 2013, labeled it a modern medical scandal, noting that positive outcomes are 50% more likely to be published, indicating the inefficacy of certain drugs. Goldacre highlights how a specific antidepressant, approved and sold in millions, was supported by one study among 7, the only one showing effectiveness against placebo. The other 6 studies, which were buried, indicated the drug was no more effective than a placebo. Manufacturers, according to Goldacre, design experiments to succeed, analyze data post hoc in ways that favor their outcomes, and market through sales representatives, paid peers, and sometimes industry-owned journals. He describes a 2010 meta-analysis by Harvard and Toronto researchers across over 500 studies, finding industry-funded research 85% more likely to affirm drug efficacy compared to 50% in independent studies. This episode sheds light on the alarming extent of publication bias, from medicine to climate change, revealing a complex web of interests that shape our understanding of truth. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll explore further into the realms where faith and knowledge intersect. Thank you for joining us on Faith in the Age of Knowledge.